And a day on the back of the sand, though, she denied me, swearing a solemn oath that she should never, never be broken. And I said, gently now, Fatima, a little less disdainful, even if you intend to break with me, do it kindly. It's some habit of mine that so much vexed you. Just draw off my garment from yours, and they'll slip away. So that's a lovely image. He's sort of chiding a love. Oh, well, you don't like me anymore? You don't want me anymore? Oh, well, just take me. In other words, she's still basically lying on top of her out in the sand someplace. This is quite shocking for an Islamic world. And I do feel that, in fact, the Persians were getting their vengeance on the Arabs through translating this material and saying, here, this is what you really are. Stop lording it over us in the way that you think Islam allows you to lord it over us now. And so part of the enthusiasm to translate all this poetry was, I think, that actually a Persian nationalist sort of ethos that had been submerged in Islam. So I think that line, you can certainly see what I'm talking about in that. But even the ethos of Ibn al-Qais is really modern and very impressive. Puffed up it's made you, that my love for you is killing me, and that whatever you order my heart to do, it obeys. Your eyes are only shed those tears so as to strike and pierce with those two shafts of theirs the fragments of a ruined heart. And many's the fairer veiled lady whose tent few would think of seeking. Here's the Sheikh of Araby going into the tents that so possessed the 1920s ethos of lovemaking after the Lawrence of Arabia affair in the First World War. It was all translated into sex by Hollywood through Rudolph Valentino. You know the history of the movie, so you would appreciate this. And whose tent few would think of seeking, I've enjoyed sporting with. And he brags, and not in a hurry either. I don't rush. I take my time. I don't care who's after me, and I don't care who I'm offending. You know, I'll take my time, and the hell with the rest of you, basically, is saying. Well, this is really pretty good poetry, I think, even in translation. And slipping past packs of watchmen, here's the Marua, defiance of the strong. To reach her with a whole tribe, hankering after my blood, eager every man jack to slay me. He's bragging about how tough and powerful and how daring he is. What time the Pleiades showed themselves broadly in heaven, glittering. That's why I don't consider, if this is an accurate representation of the Jahiliyyah, the period of ignorance, I've told you, I don't consider the Jahiliyyah period ignorant. A Muslim can say what they want and call it ignorant, but to me this is extremely sophisticated poetry. I have told you that I think it may be influenced too by you know, the activity in Baghdad of Persian translators trying to learn Arabic, but it's hard to say. What time the Pleiades showed themselves broadly in heaven, glittering like the folds of a woman's bejeweled scarf, I came, and already she'd stripped off her garments for sleep beside the tent flap, all but a single flimsy slip, and she cried, God's oath, man, you won't get away with this. The folly's not left you yet, I see. You're as reckless as ever. And out I brought her, and as she stepped, she trailed behind us to cover up footprints the skirt of an embroidered gown. So what's he saying here? He's gone to this woman's tent. She's ready for bed, but even though she's yelling at him, she's ready to go with him. And she goes out with him to some place, and it's not against her will either, because as they're going, she covers up the track with her garment. Now today, no Muslim woman would even dare behave like this. She'd be afraid of getting her throat cut. So unfortunately, you know, change has occurred. I think, and you know, I think a deterioration, frankly. To me, things were more sophisticated back then than they are now. But you who are Muslims will have to be determined of that. I can't influence the Muslim world. I can just view it from an outsider's perspective. To me, this seems like much more sophisticated approach to the universe, that's all, than cutting women's throats for some stupid idea of honor. I don't know what you guys think. I don't want you to tell me because I don't want you to be embarrassed. Out I brought her, and as she stepped, she trailed behind us to cover our footprints, the skirt of an embroidered gown, which is why I think, as I've said, Islamic civilization is actually greater than the sum total of its parts. I think Islamic civilization extremely impressive if someone would discover it again. It's there in huge amounts to be discovered for someone who cares about real civilization, not just making statements about religious positions. But when we had crossed the tribe's enclosures and dark about us hung a convenient shallow in the desert, intricately indolent, I twisted her side tresses to me, and she leaned over me, slender-waisted as she was, and tenderly plump, her ankles shapely taut. Now he's going to describe her belly and her flesh, and he's going to go off on a huge, that's why these are mu'allaqat. They're extended, an extended panegyric of her body. And taut her belly, white flesh, not the least flabby, polished the lie of her breastbone, smooth as a burnished mirror. By the way, there are 3 dots there, meaning that there's a break in this collection, this presentation of this material. And he finally concludes, let the follies of other men forswear passion. My heart answers not, nor will I forget the love I bear you. And then he has this beautiful picture here, and I think it is beautiful. He changes gears in the middle of the poem, still in the same rhythm, still in the same whatever the rhyme pattern was, into the description of a storm coming over the desert. Really beautiful. Friend, do you see yonder lightning? Even in English. Look, there it goes, its glitter flashing like 2 hands down, the heaped up crown storm cloud, brilliantly it shines. So flames the lamp of an anchorite, comparing it to someone who's living in a cave someplace. As he slops the oil over the twisted wick, so with my companions I sat watching it. He's watching on a hilltop. Between, and these are place names in the desert that he knows, between Darij and El Zubayb, far-ranging my anxious gaze over Catan. So we gazed, hover the right of its deluge, its left dropping from Al-Satar, and further Yadbul. Then the clouds started loosing its torrent like Qutaifa, turning upon the beards, the bowls of the tall cannibals, and over the hills of El Canaan swept its flying spray, and sending the white wild goats hurtling down on all sides. At Taima, you see, is that place of the date palm plantations that the Jews were rumored to have cultivated there, and where some of the tribes from Medina were originally exiled after the original problems in Medina and the several battles. So Taima is, we know, an oasis town now. In fact, it's in the book of Job. That Job goes to Taima in the book of Job. That's why we know the book of Job in the Bible is a Northern Arabian book. And here he mentions it in the poem. So this is near Taima. At Taima,